Start over again. Trevin Giles, thank you for being on the show, man. Great to have you. You had an amazing victory on your UFC debut last month. You're on the show today, and we're really excited to talk to you. And how's everything going for you since your victory?
Everything's great. It's kind of how, everything is how it's been since before the fight. Um, which is the way I like it. I don't like much to change as far as, training and everything else. So
Yeah,
I feel just as relaxed and it feels the same. Obviously, it's great, going out there and getting that victory, but for the most part, everything kind of remains the same.
nice.
Now, you mentioned that your win was your first ever knockout. I know in your record before that you had TKOs, but this is your actual first knockout. And you said after the fight that you felt kind of bad for your opponent, and you hated the way you felt after seeing your opponent pretty much knocked out. Now looking back at it, I mean, do you still feel the same way, or how do you feel about that knockout victory?
I feel the same way. I mean, I love the victory, right? I
Yeah,
love even the knockout. I love the knockout. It's just you'd much rather see you'd much rather get a knockout and then see the guy wake
yeah,
up and then
yeah,
everything's all good.
yeah.
He stayed down a little long. So when he stayed down and they had to bring the stretcher and all that stuff, that's what worried me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be a scary thing to see
So,
that.
what was it like? I know you took the fight at light heavyweight. You're making your next move back down to middleweight. Is that something that you're looking to do sometime soon?
Yeah. So right now, I'm making sure that my weight stays down.
Yeah.
And then when the UFC calls me, I heard it'd be probably like a couple of months before I get another call for a fight. Um, and I'll just keep my weight down till then. But yeah, I'm in training right now, and I'll be at 185 for my next fight.
Nice.
Now the UFC middleweight division is kind of in limbo right now because you have the champion, taking a pretty much a super fight against GSP, and you have an interim champion who's out in an injury. How do you feel about the state of the UFC middleweight division? And for your sake, it's probably a good thing because like you're just starting your UFC career. So by the time everything kind of fizzles out, you'll probably be in the top 10. But like your thoughts on the middleweight division right now?
Um, right now, I mean, I could care less how it
Yeah,
looks. Towards like whoever's champion
right.
or right because right now I'm just starting off. I'm not in that
Hmm.
conversation yet.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna approach it the same way. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna go get my wins, and then when I work my way up, I'll start thinking about that.
right.
Yeah. You're 10-0. You developed your pro career over in LFA, RFA. All of those leagues. What was it like? Maybe getting that preparation and developing a really stellar record going into the UFC. Unlike some guys where they'll get like a few couple pro wins and they'll go right to the UFC. You actually been able to become like almost like a veteran in the sport. With amassing 10 fights. How do you think that prepared you to go into the big show? I guess.
Uh, I think it prepared me a lot. It kind of irritated me, right? Because I wanted to get to the UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and I thought it happened like when I was around 7-0. I thought it might happen. But it did prepare me. I got to get more fights. I feel way more comfortable when I step in the cage and everything. So yeah, it was irritating not going sooner,
Yeah.
but I guess it helped out in the long run.
Now
Nice.
now you started doing MMA training because football, right? Like you want to, kind of develop your conditioning for football. Um, like looking back at it, do you still want to play football at some point? Or you kind of done with that page of your life?
Oh no, I'm completely done with
Yeah,
it.
Hmm.
I think there's just more. Um, I feel like there's kind of more adventure in fighting.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's definitely more of a rush, and I think it's something it's worth doing to me.
yeah.
And football and mixed martial arts are two total different things. Um, right now I feel the same way I felt about football in the past is how I feel about martial arts now. So yeah, that's what I'm sticking with.
Okay.
Nice. When you're doing your training, Well, a lot of the conditioning and training, obviously, there's separate things that you're training for. And in terms of conditioning wise, what was something that you noticed that really gravitated you towards MMA that you were like, oh, I like this? You know what I mean? Like compared to the training for both sports.
Well, I like the most thing I like is that it's when you're competing, it's one on one.
Mm-hmm.
There's no secret to who's doing what. If you lose, it's your fault. It's all on you. And it completely depends on your work, the work that you do in the gym.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was playing football or something, if I make a mistake, another guy picks up the slack, right? Or I pick up somebody else's slack, right? So I like all of it kind of to depend on me, right? How well I do in the fight is going to depend on how well I train. So if I work hard, I can get in there and I can break one single guy, right? Instead of having multiple people against you, you only got one guy against you now.
Yeah.
Right.
So all you gotta do is make it past that one guy, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that every time.
Awesome. And have you been a fan of MMA for a long time? You kind of just got into the sport just because.
Actually, when I first started, that's when I got into the sport.
Oh,
That's when I
really?
started actually watching it. Yeah, I didn't
Wow.
know much about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I didn't know
crazy.
much about MMA or anything like that. So just because I was doing it, it sparked my interest. So
Yeah.
I kind of shifted from watching football and everything like that to now, I'm watching MMA, not watching any football anymore, right? So I stay
Yeah.
focused on my sport.
And do you find yourself watching UFC fights like when you're at home
Oh
or
yeah,
MMA fights in general?
yeah, all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. It's kind of crazy.
Who are the people that you gravitated towards became a fan of when you were like, oh, like was it Vanderlei? Was it like who was it like that an MMA fighter that you were like when you first started out that you were like, oh, became a fan of?
I would have to say, the Diaz brothers.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
they're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are crazy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we actually bumped into them backstage at a Bellator event, and they're like the way they are on TV is the way they are in real life.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna get jumped the whole time. I thought they were gonna beat their ass right then and there. Because I congratulated Nate on his victory over Connor, and he didn't say anything to me. He just said, "Can you hurry up and do this already?" Because they didn't ask for a picture.
Yeah, they kind of stare you up and down. They
I was getting my ass kicked that
they
day.
check you out. Yeah. It's
It's
not a fun
crazy.
experience.
It's not
But
very
the cool
fun.
Nick's not that bad though.
Yeah, Nate's the more intimidating one for sure.
Nate's kind of straight face.
Yeah. Now for
Yeah,
you, man,
yeah.
like you're young, man. You're young. You're a tall guy. Very athletic. A pretty impressive resume as far as your record goes. Do you think that your fighting kind of helps you, with the ladies more than football does? Or
What's that?
does fighting help you more with the ladies than football?
Oh
getting
no,
girls.
I have one woman, and I stay
Okay,
focused on her.
good
that's-
answer. Good answer. It's a good answer. That's really funny.
Yeah. What other stuff do you do outside of the sport or outside of training and all that stuff? What kind of stuff you're into?
Well, I just graduated in May from
Congrats.
college, so
Congrats.
I've thanks, appreciate it. I've been for most of my career, I've been kind of fighting, working, and going to school, right? Trying to milk all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Now that that's done, I've got a lot of time to myself now. So I get a little more time with my girlfriend, more training time. But more than anything, when I'm not out training, I'm trying to spend a little more time by myself, relaxing a little bit, and with my girlfriend and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Now, a lot of fighters have a plan, like right before their fights. They have someone to call out and in their head before it happens. Is there anybody right now in the top 15 that you want to fight, or are you looking to fight?
I really never had my eye on anybody.
Mhm.
I kind of like the surprise too, right? When somebody when they're like, hey, we got this guy for you,
Yeah.
right? So I kind of like that. I feel like it keeps me on my toes. But but yeah, no, I don't really have anybody in mind. I mean, fighting for the UFC in itself is a huge opportunity. So that's what excites me, right? Whoever I
Yeah,
fight,
Yeah,
it's a UFC fighter, right?
right,
So
that's true.
that's all I can ask for right now.
right.
How many fights left do you have on your contract?
I have 3 fights.
Yeah, 3 fights. Nice.
Okay.
How many are you looking to at least fight at least one more time this year?
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love that. Yeah, if I could fight again this year, I'd love that.
Nice.
Now, obviously, being a champion in your division is always anybody's goal. But aside from that, do you have any goals for your fighting future, for your fighting career?
I keep my goals nice and I keep them short term. So I like to deal with things just a step at a time, and I
Right.
feel like in the long run, you'll get as far as you need to go. So right now, I don't even think about championship belts or anything like that. If I was just to speak on my specific goals, it's just to keep performing well, keep finishing people, keep my record clean. And then once somebody starts talking about a title fight or I have contention or something like that, then that will become part of my goal to snatch that belt.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, Terry, it was really great speaking with you. Like, we appreciate your time. I think like you're one of those prospects that can go a long way, man. And I'm not just saying that because you're in front of me, but like we've seen you compete for a while, and
Yeah.
you're really impressive, like in the cage, man. So we look forward to seeing you in top 10. And I always tell people that we interview that are starting their UFC career, man, don't forget about Josh and I in the future when you hold that middleweight title, man. So yeah, keep with the training, man, and we hope to see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Take care,
All right,
brother.
take care.
All right, see you.